and it's going to be so unbelievably bad you won't believe it. And you brought up an interesting point. I'd like to talk to some of the feminists out there. I'm sure they're not watching this show, but and you talked about how one of their points is, well, most of the evil stuff that's been done in history was done by men. It's like, yeah, but for most of history, most women never did anything. Like they just had their babies, and they had their husband or whatever. Maybe they had more than one husband, or maybe there's more than one wife. I don't know what culture they're from, but there wasn't a lot of women actually doing anything for basically until the last 100 years or so, from what I can tell, maybe 200. Then there's a few in the last century that started to do stuff. Someone invented antibiotics, I believe, or something like that. Ayn Rand, she started coming out in the 50s. So it was really around like this century that women started actually doing stuff. So if what you're going to say about the past is that because all the evil stuff that was done by men, that all men are bad, it's like, well, they were the only ones doing anything. But now look, right? Now they actually are doing this all on purpose. This is it's an amazing plan. So they're trying to put women into all the positions of power now. It's like this go women sort of thing. They're trying to screw up everything, right? All the culture and what you just pointed out. So you got Christine Lagarde of the IMF. You've got Janet Yellen of the Federal Reserve. You got, there's like a bunch of women prime ministers, Merkel, the granddaughter of Hitler, actually, in Germany. It's amazing how they plan this stuff out. And so now, like, what's the excuse now? Like, all these evil people, there's a lot of women doing evil stuff now. So that's no excuse. And it's another part of collectivism as well, right? They always want us to collectivize and to look at groups and say, oh, it's the white people. And that's another one, right? White people are if you listen to the television or you pay attention to, people in the U.S. who, talk or on the street and stuff like that, white people are really bad. It's like the same reason as the men. Not all white people are bad. I know a lot of great white people. I won't say about myself because I'm obviously biased. I don't think I'm that bad. But there's a lot of bad white people. Yeah, there's a lot of bad black people. There's a lot of bad Indian people. And they always want to just put it into groups. And this is the main way that they keep us all kind of fighting each other so that no one wakes up to what we've been talking about here, that we're all slaves to a criminal organization that is actually doing all these things to keep us fighting.
You totally got it. It's divide and conquer at every turn. So that's something that I feel very, very strongly that if men and women could see each other, if they could see the struggles that each one has, and when you say just to point out that all of the men that have been responsible for wars and all that kind of thing, it's not that they're a man, it's that they're a psychopath. Right? And
yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah, so it's not even patriarchy we live in, it's psychopatharchy. Mm-hmm. That's who's ruling the world right now, and there's a lot. And when you look at there's no man out there doing anything that isn't supported by a woman. By the way, so he's never doing anything alone, right? That's always going to be teamwork, also. And
yeah, I can speak to that. And actually, just even thinking about that, like since I've been